Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another round of sound. This is the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. I'm Bob Pompiani. Thanks for joining us tonight. We have a lot to get into, including lots of Steeler topics, including the CBA. We'll get into that. But the #1 topic tonight on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown will be the plight of the Penguins, who have now lost 6 in a row. And here to debate some of these issues with you tonight is your panel. Left to right, Mark Kaboly, who does an outstanding job with The Athletic, covering the Pittsburgh Steelers. In the middle, Mr. Ron Cook from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette and the Cook and Joe Show every day, 10 to 2 on 93.7 The Fan. To the right, Tim Benz from Trib Live and the DVE pregame show for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to start here by getting into the Penguins. Ron Cook, what's the biggest reason why they've gone 6 in a row, and really the first time they've lost all 4 of a road trip since 2010? Why?
Well, there's a lot of reasons, but #1, all of a sudden they can't score any goals. 8 goals in these 6 games during the losing streak. Crosby doesn't have, he has had the 1 goal in Washington. That's all he's done. But all the secondary guys have done nothing. Tanev, McCann. You go right down the list. These guys have had 0 goals, 1 goal in 15 or 16 or 17 games. They have too much talent, too much speed not to be able to score. They're going to get Dumoulin and Marino back. That'll help. The goaltending hasn't been as good. But to me, it's not being able to score goals.
Yeah, Pomp, the biggest reason why things are going wrong is that nothing is going right. Nothing. So for Penn's Twitter out there, if everybody's in their own camp right now on social media or on sports talk radio or whatever the case may be, trying to make it all about Jack Johnson or make it all about the goaltending or make it all about the power play, I think to Ron's point, it's well beyond whatever camp you want to identify as the big reason. Everything's wrong. And I know the power play wasn't good on this trip. What was it, like 1 for 18 or something to that effect?
Yeah, pretty bad.
Well, let's say who's on the power play. It's Sid, it's Gino, it's Letang, it's Hornquist, it's everybody. And this is a time where I guess Sully isn't pushing all the right buttons because he hasn't figured out what's wrong either or how everything going wrong can be fixed.
Yeah, you know, you said it right. I mean, we all know that they're not scoring, but you have to ask yourself why they aren't scoring. I mean, to me, it just coincides with a lot of new people in the lineup right now, and I think they're honestly, this might sound like a high school answer you hear in high school, but maybe they're reading their clips a little bit too much. Maybe they're thinking they're a little bit better than they really are. Maybe they don't have to put the effort out there. When was the last time you saw somebody score a garbage goal in front of the net just to, you know, turn the tide
Other than
a little
Hornquist,
bit?
who does it
Yeah,
all.
so he's the only one
He's
that
the
does
only
that.
one, I agree.
You need some of that type of stuff. Maybe they're just too comfortable and think they're a little bit too good right now. And I think the underlying issue is, and I think Sidney Crosby stepped forward in the right spot yesterday, was the leadership here. 2 years ago, Jim Rutherford said, we want to bring Dad back because there was no leadership in that locker room. Like, wait a second, isn't Crosby there? Is Malkin there? There might be something to that. I like Crosby standing up and actually putting blame on himself, but to say
Mark,
one
I got
thing,
to
there's a ton
disagree
of
with you.
stuff.
I got to disagree. I think Crosby's a great captain. I think he does everything the right way. He's the hardest worker on the team. I think he's a great captain. I don't think it has anything to do with leadership in the room. I really don't. You know, I don't know, maybe Tim disagrees.
Well, no, I think I want to go back to Mark's previous point about the trades because that's an easy scapegoat right now. And again, because it's convenient because you want to blame the new guys, not you specifically, Mark, but I think a lot of Pens fans out there, it's easier to blame the new guys. But, you know, 3 of these losses occurred before 3 of the 4 guys got here. This losing streak, this poor play started prior to the Buffalo trades and the acquisition of Patrick Marleau. So this arrow was going in the wrong direction prior to most of these guys arriving. And if you want to put some of this in Jim Rutherford, I'm fine with that too because, you know, we keep talking about how great he is at getting rid of bad contracts. Well, maybe he should stop getting so many bad contracts that have to be spun around because that seems to be a trend these days.
Yeah, I can't judge those guys on 3 games. I'm not even ready to judge Zucker yet. I mean, they got rid of Galchenyuk and they got rid of Cahoon. That certainly didn't hurt the room. It didn't hurt the chemistry in the room. Certainly didn't hurt the team on the ice. Those 3 guys, the new guys come in, haven't got a point in 3 games. But it's 3 games. If it's 3 more, then maybe I sit up and take notice a little bit.
Yeah, I think also if you look at it, I think in these 6 games, they actually played well, I thought, in 4 of them. Last night was just awful. It was the worst of all of them. But we've seen Tampa lose 4. We saw Washington lose 3 in a row at home and 7 out of 11. So, I mean, this kind of stuff happens. I want to talk about another issue because at some point Mike Sullivan Tim Benz is going to have to make a pick here in goal. He's been rotating. These two guys are not getting sharper, or they're not being as sharp. And I wonder if it's because it's a rotation system. At what point do you think they have 16 games in 29 days coming up here?
Well,
when do they have to
yeah.
decide on a goalie?
I think as soon as they start looking at the standings and realize they might find out that they're not in the wild card race at some point if this thing keeps going in the wrong direction. They got to step up and pick one guy. But, you know, I think, Pomp, earlier in the season it was neither one of these two goalies is playing bad enough that you want to take them out of the mix. Now I don't think they can figure out which one is playing better. It's time for one of those two to just break this losing streak themselves, stand on their head and pitch a shutout or a 2-1 game, you know, kind of like the guy in Los Angeles did in the middle of this whole losing streak.
They need some help in front of them, though, too. I agree they're not playing nearly as well. But, I mean, Jack Johnson is playing too many minutes. I don't think he deserves the beating he takes from the public. I think Schultz has had an awful year since he's come back. I don't think Pettersson has played all that great as of late. You get Dumoulin back, you get Marino back, you drop everybody down in the rotation, give them fewer minutes. I think that'll help the goaltending.
But who says Dumoulin's going to be up to speed right away anyways? That's going to take some time anyways. As for the goalie, I think this is a perfect opportunity. If anything good that comes out of this 6-game losing streak is whoever now gets hot. If somebody does pitch a shutout, as Benzie said, you ride him until, you know, if you get to the playoffs and go with that. I think ultimately it's going to be Murray, even though Jari probably has played better this season than Murray over the long haul. But, I mean, I look at Jari on Saturday night, and that goal 2 and that goal 3 are goals that should have been made in the NHL level that could change the outcome of the game, and you can't allow that to happen.
All right, real quick, I have about 2 minutes left here before we got to go to a break. Ron, I want to ask you this now. The Penguins find themselves in third, breathing right behind them, and up on them is the Islanders, although they've lost 3 in a row now too. But the Flyers have won 6 straight. Not too long ago, we were talking about the Penguins as the division winners, or at least a team that could win the division. Now, are you concerned at all falling off? And there's still time to make this up, so I understand that. But the matchups and the way to go in the playoffs could be in jeopardy. In other words, you're making it more difficult on yourself to get through an entire playoff Eastern Conference.
Well, it's so funny. They worked so hard to take over first place from Washington, and they haven't won since they've done it. Yeah, obviously it behooves them to try to win the division. I think you're better off getting a lower seed rather than playing a 2-seed, 3-seed game from the Metropolitan Conference. But they got to get their game right. They got to start playing the right way, to quote Sullivan. I don't know if it matters who you get in the first round as much as you're playing well. And you got to get healthy, too. You got to get healthy and stay healthy. I'm not worried about who they're going to play. I'm worried about how they're going to be playing when they get there.
Well, I think Philadelphia is interesting that they are the fly in the ointment all of a sudden because, Pomp, as you mentioned before, a lot of other teams have gone through some ruts like the Penguins are going through, and I think Philadelphia is a pretty good example insofar as they went out west when they were struggling earlier in the season, and they played all 5 of the fairly poor Western Conference teams and only got 1 win out of the 5. So that was really bad, and they are just now digging themselves out of the hole to the point that they're in front of the Penguins. Good for them, but I don't know if the Pens have time to make up all the points they left on the table, 6 of them, that they should have gotten at least 5 on this road trip,
Right.
let alone none.
Those are all 3 bad teams, Mark Cabali.
Oh,
They
you
let
know.
them all off the hook.
Three of the worst teams in the West. I agree with Ron here. I think this team has showed they're a top-level team if they're playing their game. So if they're playing well, it doesn't matter who they play in the first round or in the second round. I mean, you sure would like to stay away from the Capitals until the latest possible scenario. But other than that, if they're playing their game, I like their chances about getting.
All right, we're going to talk about the Steelers when we come back. But first, I want to remind you all out there that the Auto Show is like Pro Football Scouting Combine. You see what everyone can do, and then you make a pick. Well, make your pick now and save during #1 Cochran Hyundai's Auto Show After Party. You get double your Auto Show bonus cash plus $1,000 over KBB for your trades and 3 years complimentary maintenance on new 2020s. This is only at #1 Cochran Hyundai Monroeville and the spacious new South Hill store. Hurry, because it ends on March the 2nd. That's tomorrow, and we'll be back with Steeler Talk. Lots of it next. The #1 Cochran Sports Showdown is brought to you by #1 Cochran, Go One Better, and by Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. Have a greater hand in your health.